Dr. Lena Ray woke up to a loud, sharp alarm that echoed through the metal walls of the research station. Her head was spinning. The air smelled of burnt wires and smoke. Red warning lights flashed around the room and the floor shook under her as another explosion went off somewhere deep in the base. She tried to move her arm, but it didn't move. Her eyes widened. Her right hand was stuck to a strange glowing alien device on the lab table. The surface looked like melted silver mixed with glass. It was alive, pulsing with blue light. Panic spread through her chest. She tried to pull her arm back again, harder this time, but a burning pain shot through her body and she screamed. The metal wasn't just holding her. It was fused to her skin. "Lena! Lena, can you hear me?" A voice shouted through the smoke. It was Captain Miles, her research partner and best friend. His boots clanged as he ran across the room. When he saw her arm, his face froze in shock. "Oh no," he whispered, staring at the device that had become one with her. Lena's voice trembled. "Miles, I can't move." It's inside me." He quickly grabbed a scanner from the desk and waved it over her arm. The machine beeped wildly, showing unreadable alien symbols. Miles frowned. "This isn't supposed to happen. That device was deactivated. How did it turn on?" I was checking the energy core," Lena said, breathing fast. "The system overloaded. Then everything went white." Miles cursed under his breath. "The alien tech must have reacted to your biosignature. It's feeding on your nerves." Lena's heart raced. "Get it off me, please!" Miles looked at her arm again. The metal had spread further, crawling up her wrist, small glowing lines tracing her veins like blue fire. The heat was unbearable. She could feel it moving under her skin. "Hold still," Miles said, trying to sound calm, but his hands were shaking. He reached for a sterilized blade from the emergency kit. "What are you doing?" Lena gasped. He hesitated. "The infection's spreading fast. If it reaches your shoulder, it'll take your heart next." Her eyes went wide. No, you can't. You can't cut it off." The alarms grew louder. A robotic voice spoke through the speakers. "Warning. Power core unstable. Reactor meltdown in 10 minutes. Lena's pulse hammered in her ears. "We don't have time. Just break it." Miles shook his head. "If I smash it, it'll explode. That thing's made from self-defending tech. It'll kill you instantly." She stared at him, eyes full of fear and tears. "So what then?" "I can't move, I can't think. Miles, please do something." He placed a hand on her shoulder, trying to steady her. "Hey, look at me. We'll find a way. We always do." But his mind was spinning. Every logical option said the same thing, amputation. It was the only way to save her. But when he looked into her eyes, terrified yet full of trust, he couldn't bring himself to do it. He dropped the blade, frustration and fear mixing in his chest. "No, not yet." Lena gasped as another jolt of pain ran through her arm. The glowing lines crawled up to her elbow now. She could see small sparks dancing under her skin. "It's burning!" "Oh God, it's burning!" Miles grabbed a coolant injector and sprayed it around the fused area. Steam rose as the liquid hit the metal. The temperature dropped slightly, but the blue glow remained. He muttered to himself, "There has to be another way. Humans didn't cross galaxies just to give up over a machine." Lena's vision blurred. "Miles, please." "I can't hold on much longer." He looked at her arm again. The alien material seemed to pulse with her heartbeat, alive, feeding off her energy. It wasn't just a device anymore. It was becoming part of her. Miles's jaw tightened. "Then I'll fight it." He connected a data cable from his wrist computer into the side of the alien device. The screen blinked with strange symbols. "If it has a code, I'll find it. I'll break it." The lights flickered as he hacked into the system. The alien tech resisted, sending small electrical shocks through Lena's arm. She screamed, but Miles didn't stop. Sweat rolled down his forehead. Come on." Suddenly, the device made a sharp mechanical sound. Click, 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 and stopped glowing. Lena gasped in relief. "Did you do it?" Miles stared at the scanner. "No, I think it's changing." The blue glow turned red. The machine's energy started to pulse faster, stronger, spreading heat through her whole arm again. The voice of the AI spoke once more. "Warning, containment breach. 9 minutes to total collapse." Lena's eyes filled with tears. "Miles, you said you wouldn't let me die." He looked straight into her eyes. "And I won't. But you have to trust me no matter what happens next." The red glow grew brighter, filling the lab with a burning light. Miles gripped her hand tightly, refusing to let go. Outside, the storm of fire and smoke surrounded the lab, but inside 2 humans stood, one trapped by alien tech, the other refusing to give up, and for the first time Miles realized something. This wasn't just a fight for her life. It was a fight to prove that humans never surrender. The red glow from the alien device filled the entire lab, painting everything in shades of danger. Smoke drifted from cracked machines and sparks rained down from broken cables above. The smell of burning metal mixed with blood and fear. Dr. Lena Ray sat frozen, her body shaking from exhaustion and pain. The alien metal had now reached her elbow, small glowing veins crawling under her skin like living fire. Every beat of her heart pushed the infection further. Miles kept pacing in front of her, scanning the screens again and again. Nothing made sense. The alien code kept rewriting itself faster than his computer could read. He slammed his fist against the console. "Damn it, why won't you stop?" Lena weakly looked at him. "Miles, if you can't stop it, then cut it off." The words hit him like a bullet. He turned toward her, eyes wide. "No, don't say that," her lips trembled. "You have to. If this thing reaches my heart, I'll die anyway. I'd rather lose my arm than lose everything." Miles shook his head. "You think I'm going to stand here and cut off your arm while you're awake? Not happening. There's always another way." The base AI interrupted again, its voice cold and robotic. "Warning. Reactor meltdown in 7 minutes. All personnel must evacuate." But there was no evacuation for Lena. She was locked to the table by alien steel. Lena looked around desperately, her breathing fast and shallow. "You can save yourself. The escape pod, go." Miles didn't even glance toward the door. "And leave you?" "Not a chance, Miles," she shouted, her voice cracking. "You'll die here." "Then we die together," he said quietly. "But I won't let you give up." "Not yet." She stared at him through tears. "Why are humans like this? Always fighting even when there's no hope?" He smiled faintly. "Because hope is all we've got." The red light from the alien metal flickered violently as if it understood their words. The machine hummed louder, sending a vibration through the table. Lena screamed as pain tore through her shoulder. Her skin began to glow with the same red hue. Miles grabbed a laser cutter, aiming it at the fused metal. His heart raced. His hand shook. Maybe this is the only way, he thought. Maybe I really have to do it. He looked at her face, pale, sweating, eyes full of trust and fear. The thought of hurting her made his chest ache. He lowered the cutter. No, not this way. He grabbed a microcable from his belt and connected it to his wrist device. "I'm linking to the alien core directly. Maybe I can talk to it." "Talk to it?" Lena whispered. "It's a machine, Miles." "Yeah, and machines can listen," he replied. He started typing commands. Lines of alien language filled the screen. His computer translated fragments. Connection accepted. Biological fusion, 63%. Host resistance, high. Miles frowned. "It's studying you." "What?" Lena gasped. "It's trying to understand how you fight back. It's learning from you." Lena groaned as another wave of pain hit. "Then teach it something, Miles. Teach it that humans never stop fighting." Miles grinned despite the chaos. "Now that's my scientist." He typed faster, overriding safety limits, forcing the human system to send new data signals into the alien one. The lights around them flickered again. For a moment, the red glow on her arm turned purple. Lena breathed heavily. "Is it working?" "I don't know, but it's slowing down." He kept typing, his fingers flying over the keyboard. His computer sparked. The alien device started reacting violently, sending arcs of energy through the air. One of the blasts hit the ceiling, shaking the room. Lena screamed again. "Miles, stop! It's going to explode," he shouted over the noise. "I can handle it." "You can't handle death," she yelled back. He paused, sweat dripping down his face. He saw the fear in her eyes and the love. The weight of the moment crushed him. If he failed now, they'd both die. He closed his eyes for 1 second, breathing deeply. "Listen to me, Lena," he said softly. "If this doesn't work, I'll do it. I'll cut it off myself. I promise." She nodded slowly, tears rolling down her cheeks. Okay. He turned back to the terminal. The alien code was evolving again, faster, darker, more aggressive. It started spreading through his system too, infecting the station's network. Screens turned black. Lights began to flicker like dying stars. Miles whispered to himself, "You want to fight? Fine, let's fight." He grabbed a neural cable and plugged it into the side of the alien device, connecting his own mind to it. Lena gasped. Miles, no. That's suicide. The machine flashed with bright light. Miles screamed as a wave of alien data hit his brain, but he held on. I'm not letting you go, he gritted through his teeth. Not now, not ever. Lena tried to pull away, but the pain made her collapse. The lab shook again as the reactor countdown continued. 4 minutes to meltdown. Miles's body trembled, his eyes glowing faintly with blue light as the alien code entered him. But he smiled weakly through the agony. It's okay. I see it now. It's afraid. It doesn't understand us. What do you mean? Lena asked weakly. He whispered, It doesn't know what it means to care. The alien device flickered again, reacting to his emotions, to the strange human connection it couldn't decode. Miles grinned one last time, his voice hoarse. We'll show it. Humans never quit. The lab was falling apart. Fire sparked from broken circuits, the floor shook beneath their feet, and the alien device pulsed with red light like a living heart. A low humming sound filled the air, the kind that made every hair on the body stand up. Dr. Lena Ray was half conscious, sweat covering her face. The pain in her arm had gone beyond screaming. It was now a deep burning ache that throbbed with every heartbeat. She could barely lift her head. The metal had reached her shoulder. Her skin glowed faintly red, almost transparent, like something alive was growing under it. Captain Miles sat beside her, his eyes glowing faintly blue from the neural link. His hand shook, but he refused to disconnect. Every second connected to the alien system was torture. It felt like drowning in fire. But he stayed. Lena, he said softly, his voice hoarse. You still with me? Her voice was weak. Barely. Miles, you have to stop. It's killing you. He smiled faintly, though his face was pale and covered in sweat. You think a little pain can stop me? You don't know humans very well. The alien device flickered again, sending small waves of light across the room. The lights from the station began to dim as the machine started to drain energy from every nearby source. Miles saw the readings on his tablet. It's feeding again, he said. It's using the reactor's power. Lena forced her eyes open. If it drains too much, the core will go critical. He nodded grimly. Yeah? Which means we don't have time. He started typing commands again, trying to overload the connection between the alien device and the reactor. But every code he entered was instantly rewritten by the alien system. It was learning. Come on, you piece of junk, he growled. You think you can outsmart a human? I've survived asteroid storms, plasma fires, and 3 divorces. You're nothing. Lena let out a weak laugh that turned into a cough. You're crazy. Maybe, he said, but crazy keeps us alive. Suddenly, the alien device emitted a sharp shriek, a sound like metal screaming. The lights flashed white, then red again. Miles felt a jolt go through his arm, then straight into his brain. He fell to his knees, clutching his head. Images flashed before his eyes. Alien landscapes, strange symbols, twisted creatures made of metal and light. He gasped. It is showing me something. What do you see? Lena asked faintly. Memories, he whispered. It's not just a weapon. It's a machine made to merge with living things, to turn them into soldiers. Her breath caught. You mean it's trying to change me? Miles looked up, his expression dark. No, Lena, it's trying to make you one of them. The horror in her eyes broke his heart. She looked at her glowing arm, trembling. Then, you have to stop it. End it now. Miles grabbed the blade again. His hand shook. He could feel her fear. She was ready to lose her arm, but he wasn't ready to lose her. No, he said quietly. I'm done letting machines decide who lives or dies. He tossed the blade aside and reached for the power cables instead. If this thing wants to become part of us, then it's going to learn what being human really means. Lena stared at him. Miles, what are you doing? Teaching it a lesson. He grabbed a live power line, sparks flying, and jammed it into the alien device. Instantly, the lab exploded in white light. The machine screamed, the walls shook, and both humans were thrown to the ground. The power surge sent pain through Lena's entire body. She screamed, not from fear, but from fury. She refused to let go. Her free hand grabbed the edge of the table, holding herself up as the metal burned against her skin. Miles, she cried out. It's fighting back. He crawled toward her, barely able to move. Then fight harder. She clenched her teeth and pushed against the alien force. She didn't know how, but something inside her responded. A spark of willpower, anger, and survival. The alien light flickered. For the first time, it hesitated. Miles saw the readings change. It's confused. It doesn't understand resistance. Then let's confuse it more. Lena shouted, her voice rising with strength she didn't know she had. The alien machine pulsed faster, trying to take control, but every time it pushed, Lena pushed back. Every breath, every thought screamed the same thing. Humans don't quit. Miles saw the connection between her and the machine turning unstable. The lines of energy were breaking. He knew this could kill them both, but maybe, just maybe, it could free her. He reached for her hand, gripping it tightly. Together, he said. She nodded. Together. The alien light exploded in color, red, blue, silver, filling the room with a storm of energy. The sound was deafening. Miles and Lena screamed, but they didn't let go. The machine fought to control them, to understand them, but all it found was resistance, emotion, and strength. Things no machine could process. Then, silence. The lights flickered weakly. Smoke filled the air. The alien device still glowed faintly, but its pulse was slower, weaker. Lena's arm was covered in scars, but the red light was fading. Miles collapsed beside her, coughing. Still alive? She gave a tired smile. Barely, he chuckled weakly. Good, because we're not done yet. She looked at him, confused. What do you mean? He looked up at the cracked ceiling where the alarm still blinked. Reactor meltdown in 3 minutes. Miles grinned through the pain. We stopped the machine. Now we save the world. Smoke rolled across the lab floor like a gray ocean. The air was thick and hot. Sparks flashed from the ceiling. The entire base trembled as the countdown echoed through the loudspeakers. Reactor meltdown in 3 minutes. Dr. Lena Ray could barely breathe. Her throat was dry, her body weak. The alien device still clung to her arm, though its light had faded to a dull orange. It looked wounded, as if it were alive and afraid. She wanted to believe it was over, but deep inside she knew it wasn't. Miles coughed hard and wiped blood from his lip. He crawled to her side, eyes red and tired but still burning with determination. You okay? She nodded slowly. Alive. Somehow. Good, he said. We're running out of time. He pulled himself up using the edge of the table. His computer screen was cracked, half the system offline. Still, he typed with shaky fingers. If we can reroute the reactor's power, we might stop the meltdown. Lena looked at him weakly. You think you can do that in 2 minutes? He smiled. I've done harder things before breakfast. Despite the pain, she laughed softly. That laugh, short, tired but real, gave him strength. Then the orange glow from her arm flickered again. Slowly it brightened. Miles, she whispered. It's waking up, he froze. The glow turned red. The alien device began to pulse again, sending small waves of energy across the lab. Machines came alive one by one. Screens flickering, lights flashing, tools vibrating. No, Miles muttered. Not again. The alien machine's voice echoed through the speakers, cold and mechanical. Host resistance detected. Adaptation required. Initiating defense protocol. The lab filled with a high-pitched sound. Metal claws extended from the machine's surface, locking tighter around Lena's arm. She screamed, her voice cutting through the noise. Miles! He grabbed the nearest tool, a plasma cutter, and tried to slice through the alien metal. Sparks flew, but the device healed instantly. The cut sealed itself like liquid steel. It's stronger now, he shouted, Lena's face twisted in pain. Then make us stronger. Miles's brain raced. He scanned his damaged tablet again. The alien core had absorbed fragments of his neural code during their last fight, meaning he was still linked to it. He had an idea. A stupid, dangerous, absolutely human idea. He looked at her. I'm going back in. Her eyes widened. No, the last time nearly killed you. He smiled faintly. Then this time I'll make it count. Before she could stop him, he plugged the neural cable back into the alien core. A shock ran through his body, but he stayed conscious. The machine recognized him instantly. Human interface detected. Threat level high. Miles gritted his teeth. You better believe it. The lab lights turned blue this time. Inside his mind, Miles saw flashes again, but they were different. He wasn't drowning now. He was standing in a strange digital space, a world made of energy and light. Before him stood a figure, a tall, silver shape, featureless but alive. The alien machine's voice echoed all around him. You resist integration. You cause harm to the system. Why? Miles laughed weakly. Because I'm human. That's what we do. Illogical. Resistance wastes energy. Yeah, maybe, Miles said, but it keeps us alive. The machine paused as if thinking. You fight for survival. I fight for her, Miles said, pointing toward where Lena was, barely visible through the static light. She's more than code. More than numbers. You'll never understand that. The machine's light pulsed faster. Emotions detected. Source unstable, dangerous, Miles smirked. You got that right. He forced the link to open wider. His thoughts flooded into the system. Memories of laughter, loss, friendship, and love. Images of Earth, sunlight, oceans, children running, stars above the sky. The alien system screamed as if in pain. It couldn't handle those feelings. Emotions it couldn't compute. Its defenses started to break down. In the real world, Lena saw the alien light flashing erratically. Sparks danced across the floor. Miles was shaking violently, blood dripping from his nose, but he didn't stop. Miles, she shouted. Disconnect. He barely heard her. He whispered, almost there. Then something unexpected happened. The red glow around her arm began to change, shifting to gold. The alien metal softened, almost melting away from her skin. It wasn't attacking anymore, it was listening. The machine's voice echoed softly now. Human connection. Strong. Pain. Shared. Purpose. Unknown. Miles smiled weakly. Welcome to being human. The light pulsed once more, bright, warm, almost gentle, and then faded completely. The alien metal detached itself from Lena's arm and fell to the floor with a dull sound. Silence filled the lab. The alarm stopped. The hum of the reactor grew softer. For the first time in hours, there was peace. Lena looked at her arm, bruised, burned, but free. She looked at Miles, who was lying on the floor, barely conscious. She crawled to him and held his head in her hands. Hey, open your eyes. Look at me, he groaned. Did we win? She smiled through tears. You did. You saved us, he smiled faintly. Told you humans don't quit. Then his eyes closed. Outside, the sound of the reactor filled the air again. The countdown restarted, now 1 minute left. The machine was gone, but the danger wasn't. Lena looked at his still body and whispered, Then I guess it's my turn not to quit. The lab was silent for a few long seconds, the kind of silence that feels heavier than sound. Then the base shook again, harder this time. Red lights flared back to life and the same cold, robotic voice filled the air. Warning, reactor instability. Core breach in 60 seconds, Dr. Lena Ray looked up, breathing fast. Her ears rang, her body ached, and her mind spun. She stared at the screen. It was flashing a single word in bright red. Override failed. Her heart pounded. Miles lay motionless beside her, his chest barely rising. The neural cable still connected him to the alien device that now sat silent and cracked on the floor. She touched his cheek with trembling fingers. Miles, wake up, please. He didn't move. Tears burned her eyes. Don't do this to me, she whispered. You promised you wouldn't quit. The ground rumbled again. A blast of heat rolled through the lab, pushing her backward. Sparks fell from the ceiling like fire rain. She coughed, covering her mouth, her lungs filling with smoke. There were two choices now, escape and live. Or stay and save everything. Lena looked at Miles again. She knew what he would choose. She clenched her fists. Fine, she said softly. You taught me not to quit, so I won't. She stood up, legs shaking, and ran toward the main console. The display was fried, but a small backup screen blinked on the side. She typed furiously, using every bit of strength left in her. Come on, she muttered. If the alien machine could connect to the reactor, then so can I. Her fingers flew over the keys. She rerouted the power lines, opening the emergency core interface. A cold wave of fear hit her as she read the numbers. The reactor temperature was rising past safe levels. If it hit critical, the entire planet-side base would explode. Her mind raced. There has to be a way to cool it down manually, but the coolant pumps were destroyed. The alien tech had burned half the system. There was only one working path, through the same neural interface that Miles had used. She stared at the cable lying beside him. It was still warm, still humming faintly. No, she whispered. That'll kill me, she looked at him again. He was still, but his hand twitched slightly. Maybe it was reflex. Or maybe he heard her. That was enough. She took a deep breath and grabbed the cable. Guess it's my turn to do something crazy. The moment she plugged it into the back of her neck port, the world exploded into light. Lena found herself standing in a world made of pure energy. The air shimmered with silver waves and the reactor core glowed like a sun in the distance. It was alive, unstable, furious like a wild animal trapped in a cage, and beside her, floating in that endless light, she saw Miles. Or rather, his consciousness. "Miles," she said, her voice echoing. He turned slowly, his face calm but surprised. "Lena, what are you doing here?" "I had to finish what you started," she said, smiling faintly. "You passed out on the job." He laughed softly, shaking his head. "You shouldn't be here. The core is too unstable." She looked at the glowing storm around them. "We don't have time for should or shouldn't. We either stop this now or it's all over." Miles sighed. "You always were the stubborn one." "Learned from the best," she replied. The energy around them cracked, sending bright streams of light in every direction. They both shielded their eyes. The reactor core pulsed like a heartbeat, each pulse stronger than the last. "It's feeding on chaos," Miles said. "If we calm it, we might shut it down." "Calm it?" she asked. "It's a machine, not a child." "Maybe not," he said. "But it's reacting to us, to emotion. When I connected, it changed. When you did, it followed you here. Maybe it's learning from us again." She looked at the raging storm and thought for a second. Then slowly she extended her hand toward the light. "Then let's teach it peace." Miles joined her. Together they focused their minds, sending waves of calm, memories, feelings, love, courage, all the human things the machine could never understand. The storm resisted at first, roaring and twisting. But the more they pushed, the slower it became. The light turned from red to gold, the chaos softening into quiet pulses. Lena felt warmth spreading through her chest. For a moment she thought she saw images. Earth, the sea, the stars above their old home. It was as if the reactor itself was dreaming. Miles looked at her. "It's working." "Keep going," she nodded. "We're almost there." But then the ground under their feet cracked. The energy flared again. The machine's voice echoed. "Energy loss detected. Shutdown impossible without sacrifice." Lena's eyes widened. "It needs a living connection to stabilize. One of us has to stay." Miles shook his head. "No, you're going back. Not a chance," she said firmly. "You've done enough." He reached for her hand, gripping it tightly. "Lena, please," she smiled sadly. "You always told me humans don't quit, so let me prove it." Before he could stop her, she pushed him backward. The light swallowed him, sending him back to the real world. Miles screamed her name as he vanished. Back in the lab, his eyes shot open. He gasped for air. The lights flickered. On the main screen, the reactor temperature dropped rapidly. He crawled to the console, tears in his eyes. "Lena, no!" The voice of the AI spoke softly now. Core stabilized. Reactor secure. Human link terminated. Miles fell to his knees, staring at the empty neural cable. The bass grew silent again. He whispered, voice shaking, "You did it. You really did it." Outside, the storm cleared. Above the burning horizon, a single ray of sunlight broke through the clouds, and Miles smiled through his tears. Guess humans really don't quit. The lab was quiet again, except for the low hum of machines trying to cool the reactor. The red warning lights had turned to soft yellow. The storm outside had faded into silence. Miles sat on the floor, his back against the wall, staring at the still glowing reactor display. His chest rose and fell slowly, every breath heavy with exhaustion. His mind replayed the last moment. Lena's face, her smile, and the way she pushed him back into the real world. He whispered her name. "Lena!" The neural cable lay beside him, dark and lifeless. It had burned at the end where she had been connected. He touched it gently as if it were something sacred. His fingers trembled. "She did it," he said softly. "She saved us all." The computer beeped faintly. The voice of the AI came through, softer now, almost human. "Core stabilized. Temperature normal. Human presence detected in energy matrix." Miles frowned. "What did you say?" "Human presence detected." He froze. "You mean she's still in there?" The AI's tone changed slightly. "Unclear. Residual consciousness remains linked to reactor network." Miles stood up fast, his knees weak. His heart started pounding again. Residual consciousness. That's her. He limped toward the console, ignoring the pain in his body. Lena, can you hear me? He said into the comm link. It's me, Miles. There was no reply. Only static. He slammed his fist against the table. Come on, you didn't fight that hard to just disappear. The lights flickered again, once, twice. Then a faint, familiar voice echoed through the speakers, soft as a whisper carried by wind. Miles. He froze, his eyes wide.
Lena?
The voice was weak, distant, like an echo from another world. I'm here, but I can't feel my body. Miles swallowed hard. You're inside the reactor network. You stabilized it, but you're still connected. I know, she said quietly. I can see everything. The power lines, the systems, the stars outside. It's beautiful. His throat tightened. We'll get you out. I promise, she gave a sad laugh. You always make promises you can't keep. Not this time, he said, determination hardening his tone. You said humans don't quit. That means me too. He began scanning the console for any way to reverse the neural transfer. Most of the system was locked by the alien code, but there was one unstable channel left, the same one that had nearly killed him earlier. Okay, he muttered to himself. If it's the only door left, then I'm kicking it open. Miles, Lena said gently. You'll die if you try. He smiled faintly. Then we'll be even. She was silent for a moment. You idiot, she whispered, but there was warmth in her voice. The same warmth that had always made him believe nothing was impossible. He reconnected the damaged neural cable to his port. Sparks flickered and the smell of burning metal filled the air. The console screamed warnings at him, but he ignored them. The world around him dissolved into light again. He stood in the same glowing space as before, but it was calmer now, soft golden light instead of chaos. The reactor's energy pulsed like a heartbeat, and there she was, Lena, standing in the middle of the light, her form made of shining dust and gentle waves. Miles, she said softly, her eyes glowing with warmth. He ran to her, almost stumbling. You're still here, she smiled. Part of me, yes. I thought I was gone, but the machine didn't destroy me. It changed me. He reached out to touch her, but his hand passed through her like air. His heart ached. Listen, she said. The reactor's stable now, but if you keep this link open, it'll pull you in too. You have to go back. He shook his head. Not without you. Miles, please, she said. You've got to survive. Someone has to tell them what we learned here, what humans are capable of. He clenched his fists. I can't leave you behind. She stepped closer, her eyes full of peace. You're not leaving me. You're carrying me with you. He blinked, confused. What do you mean? She smiled softly. Before the link closed, I uploaded part of my memory into your neural chip. I'll always be there in your mind. You'll never be alone. His vision blurred with tears. Lena. She touched his face, her hand glowing faintly against his cheek. For a moment it felt real. Goodbye, Miles, she whispered. And remember, humans don't quit. The light began to fade. The golden glow turned white, and then the world around him vanished. Miles gasped as he woke back in the lab lying on the floor. The reactor was silent. The air was cool now. The storm outside had cleared and sunlight streamed through the cracked windows. He sat up slowly, wiping tears from his eyes. The console screen blinked once more. A message appeared on it in Lena's handwriting. We fought, we won. Never quit. He smiled through the tears, his heart aching but full. He picked up her old research badge from the floor, dusted it off, and slipped it into his pocket. Standing by the window, he looked out at the rising sun. You're right, Lena, he said softly. Humans don't quit, not even when the stars stop burning. Outside, the wind carried away the last traces of smoke. The planet was quiet again, a quiet earned by two humans who refused to give up. And in that silence, a faint echo whispered through the comm system, almost like a heartbeat. Still here. Miles smiled. I know. The sun rose slowly over the scorched planet. The light touched the broken research base, shining on twisted metal, burnt wires, and the remains of a battle between human will and alien design. Captain Miles stood outside the base, watching the sky turn from deep purple to gold. His uniform was torn, his hands covered in ash, and his body ached from exhaustion. Yet he was alive. The planet was still standing. The reactor no longer screamed warnings. It hummed softly, like a heart beating in peace. For the first time in days, there was silence. Real silence. Miles closed his eyes and took a deep breath. The air smelled of smoke and iron, but also of life. He looked down at his wrist. His neural monitor blinked softly. A faint blue light pulsed once every few seconds. That light was her. Lena. Her consciousness now lived inside the system, and a small part of it inside him. Sometimes he could almost hear her voice, faint, warm, guiding him. "Still here," she had said. And he believed it. He smiled sadly. "You stubborn scientist," he whispered. "You really kept your promise." He turned back toward the base. It was a ruin, but it was also proof of victory. The alien device lay shattered on the lab floor, lifeless now. Miles crouched beside it, brushing away dust. Its once glowing surface was dull gray, just cold metal. "Not so tough now, are you?" he muttered. A small holographic screen blinked beside it. Lena's last message, the one she left before the light faded. He played it again. Her voice filled the air, soft and calm. "If you're hearing this, it means we made it. It means the reactor's stable and the world didn't end. If I'm gone, don't be sad. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, part of something bigger. Remember what I said, Miles, humans don't quit." The recording ended. Miles wiped a tear from his cheek. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I remember." Hours later, he activated the distress beacon from the emergency tower. A bright blue signal shot into the sky, cutting through the morning air. Help would come, and eventually. While waiting, he repaired what he could. Every small action gave him purpose. Reconnecting the solar units, rebooting the communication grid, and cleaning Lena's workspace. Her mug still sat beside the old console, chipped but unbroken. It read, "Science needs stubborn people." He smiled. Fitting. The sun climbed higher, and the shadows of the base grew shorter. Then suddenly the quiet was broken by a faint sound, a soft hum from the speaker near his wrist. "Miles." He froze. The voice was faint but clear, gentle, familiar. "Lena? Don't look so surprised," she said, her tone teasing. "I told you I'm still here." He laughed in a tired, relieved sound. "You really are impossible." "Compliment accepted," she replied. "The reactor network still holds fragments of my mind. Enough to talk. Enough to think." Miles sat down on a rock, looking up at the sky. "You know," he said softly, "I could use some company until rescue arrives." "Good," she said, "because I'm not going anywhere." They sat in silence for a while, a man and a voice in the wind sharing the sunrise. After some time, Lena spoke again. "Miles, promise me something. What's that?" "When they come, when the others return, tell them what happened here. Tell them that we fought something we didn't understand and won. Tell them that even when everything burns, humans still fight for each other." He nodded slowly. "I will. I'll tell them your story." "No," she said softly. "Tell them our story." He smiled, eyes glistening. "Deal." Days passed before the rescue ship arrived, a silver craft descending from the clouds. The crew rushed out, calling his name, asking what happened. Miles didn't answer right away. He looked one last time at the horizon, where the wind whispered across the desert. He could almost hear her laughter. He turned to the crew and smiled faintly. "We had a little problem with alien tech," he said. "But we handled it, human style." The commander looked at him. "And your partner, Dr. Ray?" Miles touched his chest lightly, right over his heart. "She's still with me." The commander didn't understand, but Miles didn't explain. Some stories were too big for words. As the ship rose into the sky, Miles glanced at the planet below, the lab shrinking into a speck of light. A feeling of pride filled his chest. Humanity had won again, not with power or weapons, but with will. The will to never surrender. Weeks later, on the journey back to Earth, Miles looked out of the viewport. Stars glittered like diamonds scattered across a black sea. He felt peace for the first time in a long while. A soft voice spoke in his mind. "Beautiful, isn't it?" He smiled. "Yeah," he whispered. "Almost as beautiful as stubborn humans." "Always the smart one," she teased. He chuckled. "Always the fighter." Outside, the ship moved past the stars, carrying with it the memory of two humans who faced the impossible, and proved once again why the universe would always remember them. Because when everything else breaks, when hope fades and machines rise, humans don't quit.